Finally, I can speak because the other workmen on site have all gone home, so it's now nice and quiet. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fit a end panel, a tall end panel. And that goes right from the floor there, right to the very top of that cabinet. So what we need to do now is get the tape measure. We're going to take a piece of the flooring, which already has the backing on it, like so. We're going to take a measurement from both corners. And that is 2,280 millimetres. The back is also 2,280 millimetres. The end panel goes right from the wall, right up to the outside of the unit. You never measure to the unit itself. You always need to measure to the door on the unit. So that's an important thing to consider. And because this is a new house, it should be absolutely bob on. So there we've got 635 millimetres. So we need to measure right from the wall, right to the front of the door, which is 635, and that is the same distance all the way down. So that is very easy, it just means we've got two perfectly straight cuts. And obviously when we cut this panel, we need to ensure we cut the bottom and the back. We don't want to be cutting the face off the front of the panel. And what we'll do is we'll actually leave a millimetre as well, just so that we can get this piece under when whoever's fitting the floor is doing that, so that they are not going to struggle getting that underneath the tall end panel. In order to do the cutting, I'm going to use this Dewalt cordless circular saw. I've actually put a special blade on there that's got more teeth. I'll put a link to the blade that I bought in the description. I've also had to use that vacuum attachment, which a guy off Facebook actually makes. So I'll post a link to his Facebook page, and if you need one of those, you can order it. That's been 3D printed. But the vacuum port on this saw is in a very bad position. But by using that, you can actually make it usable. So I'm just going to cut a very small piece of this, just to see how good of a cut we get with this blade. I'm actually going to do it in two passes. The first pass is going to cut quite literally half of a millimetre off. The second pass will go straight through. That has given us a very good quality cut, which I'm happy with. So I'm now happy to cut this panel down. It is a lot bigger than what we actually need. To start off with, I'm going to cut it to the correct length, and then once we've done that, we can rip down the side and cut it to the correct width. You can see that this saw is kicking up a lot of dust, so later on through the kitchen install I used my Evolution corded circular saw and track, which was much better. And I've got some external wood glue and the brush, and we're going to seal this edge that goes against the wall. It is important that you do this in a kitchen or a bathroom, because the last thing you want is a spill, because the water will be soaked up in the chipboard like a sponge and it swells and makes a right mess. So it is critical that you do this on any cut edges. If you get any glue on the face, you can just wipe that off. Obviously it doesn't matter about this side because this is going to be the back, which you won't see. The ZX brackets work like this. One is screwed to the cabinet, then the other is screwed to the tall end panel. Basically, you just need to follow the instructions with these and fit the ZX brackets so that they will insert into each other to hold the panel in place. So I'm just going to mark 20mm down. Each bracket requires 3 screws, all of which need pilot drilling first. The bottom one goes flush with the bottom and the back. We can then use an offcut of the profile, and we can use that, we can mark a line there for the bottom bracket, which is an X bracket. We then need to do that at the top and also in the middle. This is the top of the panel, and this is the edge that goes to the wall, which is the back. So I've marked a line on there, 20mm down, and then I've measured in 50mm from the back because there is a gap behind these units. Now normally you wouldn't have that gap, so you would normally fit these flush. So that is going to go there in that position. We are actually running out of daylight now as well, it is going dark, so I've got the work light on. So this one wants to be flush with the top, and that wants to be about 60mm away from the edge. And then we just need to measure from the laminate, which is where we've been measuring from. That's about 150mm. Again, we need to go about 150mm up. That is where the base of the unit is. And then we need to measure in about 60mm from that side. And that is where the bottom of that goes. And we just need to do the middle one. This is the measurement that I've measured from the top, which is 42 inches. Again, we need to go 60mm in. So that's all the brackets fit to the tall end panel. Now all I need to do is carefully stand that up and hook it into position without damaging the ceiling. And there's not a massive amount of room. And then that should just lift straight up and on. So that's what it looks like when it's on. And importantly, down at the bottom, you can actually get the flooring right underneath there. So the next thing we need to do is fit the aluminium trim profile, which will simply fit in there. I have covered that in another video. In a neighbouring property, the joiner didn't use these, but cut blocks of wood instead. If you are doing this, ensure that any screws will not be visible afterwards.